Welcome to the Let's Talk BS podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Sofia, and we're coming to you live from the
757, where we discuss real estate,
culture, and current events.
Hey, what's going on, Sophia? How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good. It's been a little while since we've recorded, right?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's because October had 5 weeks in it, so we got a week off.
Yeah, we did,
Ultimately.
right? Yeah, got a week off. I know some folks that I think I remember. I don't get paid like this anymore, but I remember I used to get paid every 2 weeks. Now I get paid semi-monthly, so I get paid just twice a month regardless. But I remember there was always like that 1 month in the year
where you got three
that
paychecks.
you got three paychecks, man. I remember that was clutch when I was younger, man. I was like, yo, I get paid 3 times this month. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the sizzle.
Especially, it used to be lovely when it was in December.
Yeah, I felt like it always felt it was around this time. Like I don't know. I felt like
it was always lovely because it was like you had that extra check after spending all that money on holiday gifts and stuff like that. That definitely used to come in the clutch.
Yeah, that was clutch. I don't know if it felt that way with for October because of how I don't even pay attention to that pay cycle like that no more. But maybe it did. I don't know. With the being 5
You want to hear something funny? So
what?
I was talking to an agent the other day. And I don't know what we were talking about, but I guess normally I just talk like professionally when I'm on the phone with agents, right? And so this particular person I've been knowing for years. And so for the first time I used slang, I said jit. And the agent was like, hold on, wait, what you say?
Oh, wow, for real.
And I was like, yeah, but I was a jit. Da, da, da. And he was like, I did not know you used slang, Sophia. I was like,
wow. What? That was like a moment.
Right.
That's funny. Yeah.
That was hilarious. I was like, if you only knew.
Yeah, it's crazy for me, man, because I still struggle with that. Like
What you
talk
mean?
like slang. Like I know we're professionals, but I still do use slang in probably settings where I shouldn't use slang.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean that's just something that I'm not like I don't.
It's almost like a part of our culture, right?
Yeah. When I'm talking to people, and I think a lot of times with me it's like, especially when I'm talking to somebody, and we're on the same wavelength, like we have conversation, like it'll slip because it could be somebody I'm talking to for the very first time, right? So it could be a person that called me, wanting to buy a house. And then just how the conversation's going, like I'll get loose. As my mama used to say, I get loose, and I'll end up popping off some slang in a situation where I shouldn't really be doing it, but I still do that to this day. Like I actually remember doing that. I think it was earlier this week. I was talking to somebody. I mean, it wasn't like the person didn't bring it up or whatever, but I'm cognizant of it. Like I catch myself like, oh man, I shouldn't have said that right there.
What did you say?
I think I said jank. Because that's the key. That's the word that I use the most.
How did that come up in mortgage jank?
Yeah, I mean, because we were, I think in that moment.
Don't you use that kind of context of like, I don't like that jank?
Yeah, but jank is you can use jank for a lot of stuff.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I can say that jank's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? It's not necessarily talking about a person or whatever.
Okay.
But that is, I guess, the way that it's normally used is talking about like maybe like a person or whatever. But
I hear you say bruh a lot or bro or
I say bruh. Yeah, I do say that. Yeah. It's funny. My son, when he be saying that, people be hearing it too. I'm like, nah, you got to be quiet, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But we'll be somewhere. And like, let's say, I don't know, we're getting some food or we're, I don't know, at going golfing and we see somebody, and I always call people boss, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks, boss. And he's like, he's not your boss. Why do you call him your boss? Why you say boss?
Oh my gosh. Jada's like, literal just like that.
I'm like, nah, it's just a figure of speech.
Yeah.
But he's like, he always questions me still doing that. He'll say that when the person can hear him too. He was like, he's not your boss, Dad. He's not. Why are you saying him boss? I'm like, son, it's just a figure of speech. He doesn't understand. Like, I mean, I think he understands it, but he still just questions it when it happens.
He wants you to say it the correct way. That's what that is.
Yeah,
he's like, no, that's not. He's not your boss.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny, but yeah, I've been caught up several times saying things, a little loose than what I should be saying in those settings. So, but what's been good with you though? It's been 2 weeks. What's been good?
Oh, man. Okay. So let's see. The last time we recorded, we were heading into homecoming weekend. So I definitely attended the Norfolk State University versus Hampton University homecoming, in which I had a blast.
Sweet.
Friday night, I went to Alumni Fest.
Okay.
And that was a big party at Waterside. So one of my friends, her husband threw the party. It was his party. So then we all got in and we had a blast.
Oh, cool, cool.
That was really fun. I actually saw Tim from Love is Blind.
Oh, wow.
There. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because he from, well, he went to Norfolk State if I'm not mistaken. I remember mentioning it on the show. Yeah.
So I saw him. My homegirl was like, that's not him. That's not him. I said, yes, it is. I can tell that that's him. So we just so happened to be like crossing paths. So it was kind of like he was walking this way and I was walking this way. We kind of ran into each other and I was like, hey, you're Tim from Love is Blind.
Oh, you actually you asked that?
I tapped him just like this, bruh. Just like what you do,
funny.
Bruh.
Yeah.
And I was like, you Tim from Love is Blind? He was like, shh. I was like, I looked at him. I must have gave him the mom look because I was like, answer my question.
Yeah,
and he was like, yeah. I said, okay. And I walked off.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so that was funny.
I wonder how many times. I wonder how many people actually asked him that or like said.
I don't know.
Something
Nobody was around him, but him and his boy. It wasn't like he was a celebrity. I guess.
I get it, but I mean, the show was very popular. So I mean, just like how I'm assuming before you saw him, did you think about potentially like was it on your mind maybe like potentially seeing him there at all?
No,
no, it wasn't. Okay, no, I didn't know, man, because we're it was a Norfolk State event. I know we talk about the show. I know you like the show a lot. So I just didn't know if you were like, I'm not saying looking for him per se, but just like, maybe whatever. So.
Didn't expect it at all.
Got you.
Not at all.
Gotcha.
Like when I go out, I don't really like anticipate like, oh, I wonder if so-and-so is going to be there. I don't do that.
Got you.
I go with the people I'm going with. If I see you, I see. If I don't, I don't.
Understood. Yeah. I guess that's me because I do that sometimes. Like if I know I'm going somewhere and I know that, somebody maybe that's top of mind or somebody that I know frequents that place because I don't normally go out very much, but I know like, hey, I see or know these people go to this place. In my mind, I'll be like, I might run into them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just kind of comes across my mind before. So, I don't know. It's just how I think.
No, not at all. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not my jam.
Understood. So how was the rest? So you went to
So I did that, and
Friday.
then on Saturday, missed the parade, but then I was able to get there at the point when the band walks into the game. Yeah. So they walk down that, I don't even know, that street. Yeah. And they were playing, and then the alumni joined them, the alumni cheerleaders, some alumni band members, and they jump in and be a part of that. And so we got to see that. We went to the tailgate. We went inside the game. I think we went in the game like first quarter, maybe in the first quarter, maybe beginning of the second quarter. And then we left like 8 minutes before fourth quarter.
Did they win?
Norfolk State ended up winning by 1 point.
Oh, so it was a good game too then.
Yeah, it was a good game. It was funny because our seats that we purchased, they really need to do a better job at giving us assigned seats because we bought seats in section 103, which is like right in front of the 50-yard line, pretty much, right? And so really great seats, but it was packed. So obviously people who probably bought tickets in another part of the stadium came and sat there. So now I didn't have my seats, but instead of making it a big deal, we just went behind the field goal and just watched the game for there. But it was nobody, like it was a really good area to not be like jam packed next to anyone. So we just went over there, hung out, and then after the game, went back to the tailgating and we stayed there till like about 7 and then we left.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I was about to say, that's an HBCU for you, man. I can't tell you how many times I haven't been to an overseas game in a minute, and it was all been pre-pandemic, but that's how they do, man. Like people just, sit wherever, they try to funnel to the better seats because nobody really holds them accountable for, what your seats are or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just kind of.
And I was happy because I got VIP ticketing. So if you saw this line, you talking about, okay, so you've been in Norfolk State obviously plenty of times, right? The line was from the front gate where you first walk in. It was all the way back down the road by the tailgate.
You talking about to get into the game?
To get into the game.
Oh, wow.
So because I have VIP tickets, I skipped through all of that. Gotcha. Like every time that I went in and out and that's another thing. You can go in and out the game, which is crazy.
Yeah, go home. They let you.
So I was in and out the game and like I never had to wait in any type of line, which was awesome.
That's dope. Yeah, that is dope.
Yeah. That was really nice. And then now the down part of it all is people smoke So just being out there with that smoke, I'm not a smoker. I don't think I have any friends that smoke anything, like for real.
Yeah. What were they
Maybe.
smoking out there? I mean, like a little bit of everything? Weed,
Probably.
cigars, cigarettes, stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the men was probably smoking cigars and weed.
Yeah.
I don't recall what women were smoking, but probably weed. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not my ministry, so I wasn't paying attention. But I do know it bothered me. So that next week, I was like struggling because of all that smoke.
Yeah.
Let me see what else. My homegirl, she graduated from NSU, and it was like her 20th year anniversary being a Delta as part of the Divine Nine. Okay. So they had like a tent, and we got to go there and hang out there. So it was real nice. It was actually fun. I had a good time.
That's cool. Yeah, that's real cool.
And that was in the midst of my 75-mile challenge, which I did complete.
You did? Okay. That's good.
Yep. So I ran the 75 miles, and like I literally ran probably the day before all this went down, maybe the day of.
And so you finished it before? So you had to still do more after? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I think I had like 8 miles after that weekend.
After the weekend, okay. Mm-hmm. That's what's up.
But I finished all of that.
Did everybody, I know you said there was a couple other people that was doing the challenge with. Did everybody else be able to
Everybody
finish?
finished,
That's what's up. So everybody got to do what they said it was going to do.
Everybody did.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm. Now we're in a new challenge this month. One of the girls dropped out, but the other one is still hanging strong.
What's the new challenge this month?
The new challenge is if you have like an Apple Watch or some type of Fitbit activity watch, you have to work out, reach 400 active calories burnt in a single workout.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be the same type of workout. So like you don't have to, run to get to 400 calories. You can run, do your cardio, lift your weights, do whatever you need to do, but it has to be all done at one time.
Gotcha.
So you can't like go and burn 200 calories in the gym that morning and then turn around and go at night and run.
Oh, okay. So it has to be in that setting.
Correct.
Of that workout.
And you have to do that 4 times.
4 times a week?
A week.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's what's up. And that's going to do y'all doing that for a whole month, you said?
For the month of November.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's what's up.
Yep. Yeah. So I've done my 4 days this week.
That's what's up. Yeah,
the first day I did water aerobics.
Water aerobics?
Yeah.
What's water? Well,
Water Zumba.
How do you do water Zumba?
So, you go in the water. There's an instructor, and they tell you how to do Zumba-like dances, but that can be done in the water.
In the water. Wow. Okay. I never heard that before.
Yeah, it was so funny because it was all elderly people there. So everybody in that class, with the exception of me and my friend, me and her, everybody had to be 70 or older.
Oh wow.
We were the youngest ones in the class.
Y'all were. So hopefully y'all was setting it. They won't outdo it. Well, I guess I don't know how they just tell like you have an instructor that tells you to do and y'all just do stuff in the water type of thing. Okay. All right. Cool.
It's just like regular Zumba. That's yeah.
I guess I'm just still trying to imagine the water aspect. I've seen people do Zumba, like in a room or whatever.
Yeah. So it's like that. Yeah. There's nothing different.
But it's just in the water.
It's just in the water. So like. She did say that, like, some of your moves may be a little bit shorter because, you got the pressure of the water against you. Yeah. So, like, for example, if you wanted to do something where you're moving side to side, now you have the water as your weight, right? Going side to side in the water. And then she'll have you do, like, box steps in the water. Then she'll have you run in place.
Do box steps in the water?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then she'll have you run in place in the water.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then she'll have you... we did the cha-cha. We did all kinds of stuff. We salsa'd in the water. Oh, wow. That one threw me off, but I did it. But we had fun.
That's cool. That's funny. My sister, man, she hit me up. She's actually, shout out to her, she's getting married in like right at 2 months. She's getting married in like mid-January.
Okay.
And so she has this dance that she wants me and her to do. Like, you know how like, you have like a mother-father dance and, that type of all the different dances or whatever you have with the different people in your family. And so she wants me and her to do a dance. But it's like a minute long. I'm like, we're going to have to like do like a whole choreography practice that dance. Yeah. So we're supposed to be getting up. This weekend she's actually doing her bridal shower. So like Brooke, my wife, and my daughter, because she actually even invited Sloan.
Wait, Brooke. Oh, okay. Never mind.
So they're coming, and I guess they're supposed to be doing something. I don't even know what they're doing, but they're supposed to be doing it this weekend. But the next weekend, me and my sister are supposed to be getting up and starting to like practice this this dance that she wants us to do for her wedding. So we're gonna see how that go. You know, when you said dancing, it made me think about it because she just sent it to me like earlier this week. So
better show up and show out.
Oh yeah, I
Don't be out there looking like an old man.
Oh man. Okay.
Showing your age.
Oh man, showing my age. Okay. It's funny you say stuff like that, but you really the same age as me. That's the crazy part. Like everything that you say about me when it comes to my age, I can say that about you. You got the same age.
What year was you born?
What year I was born?
I was born. Wait, were we born in the same year?
Nah.
Were you born a year before me?
Yeah.
We're not the same age.
We are the same age. We are the same age.
Okay.
My birthday is literally the last month of the year. So like that doesn't mean that we're not the same age.
Okay.
You know, I'm a gentleman. I ain't gonna put your age out there, but people who know what I am, 37, we the same age. So that's what it is.
All right.
I got another month, a little less than a month until I turn 38.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, so that sounded like you had a great weekend though.
I did.
That was 2 weekends ago. Like I said, we haven't recorded in 2 weeks. So I know for me, that weekend, I took the family to New York. So that was pretty cool. That was the first time that my kids have been in New York. Me and Brooke have been there a couple of times, but it's the first time that my kids went. And so they had been seeing videos and learning about the Statue of Liberty. So that was like a big thing for them to see the Statue of Liberty. So we went up there and it was cool because everything kind of lined out perfect because they were out of school that Friday. And so we went up there that Friday, was able to spend the whole weekend up there. And so Friday we got up there, got something to eat. And then what did we do? We hit up some museums first. I linked up with my buddy Eric. He lives up there. He lives in Harlem. So me, him, his wife, and he has 2 daughters, which are actually the exact same age as our kids. So we went up there. We went to this museum together. It was called the Mercer Labs Museum. And it was really cool, man. They had it was like everything was technology. So they had I don't know, I posted a video on social media, man. They had stuff, the kids just loved it though, man. So we was there for a couple of hours that evening. And then that was first day we got there. Then we ate dinner. Then we just kind of hung out that evening, walked Times Square at nighttime and everything. The kids were loving the bright lights because that's where we stayed. We stayed right there in the middle of everything. It was tough though. I'll say, to get to certain places, we tried to Uber because the train station, it's just filthy, man. So we ended up Ubering to different places. And it was crazy because in New York, man, they don't really do car seats. You know what I mean? So I got kids where they're supposed to be in car seats. And New York, they nah, they Ubers don't really do that. So my kids is back there. I'm in the front with the Uber driver. The kids are back there. And I ordered the bigger Ubers, like the XL. So it was big Suburbans. It was really nice, comfortable, clean vehicles. But it was just, weird to see my kids with the actual real, seatbelts on versus actually being in the car seat. You know what I mean? So that was a challenge. Brooke was not liking that the whole time. You know what I mean? Which I get, I understand. So yeah.
Wait, so I'm confused. What did y'all expect, or what did she expect as far as the Ubers? Because they don't have car seats.
Yeah, so they do though. So up there, I guess because of let me say. So when
you can order an Uber with a car seat, is what you're saying, but you can't order an Uber with 2 car seats.
There you go. Okay. There you go. Exactly. Yep. So that's the thing, because you can just indicate on the Uber. You can indicate that you Uber XL, and then it has specialties, so like handicap accessible, where it allows you to have somebody in. You can
not many people had Uber with a car seat, and then let alone 2.
There you go. Exactly.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So that was the struggle. And Brooke's comfortability level was being tested every time we got in one of those. When we got there though, which was pretty cool, I did a car service, right? So I got a car service that picked us up from the airport and took us to our hotel. Mm-hmm. And it was cool them to show have a sign to say Royster on it. You know what I mean? Felt like I was important.
I've done that before, actually.
Yeah, that was my first time ever doing something like that.
I've done that 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
So my very first time was in New York.
Okay.
I flew into, I was in New Jersey. I'm sorry. Because I flew into Newark. Mm-hmm. And it was bomb seeing my name, and the driver was like standing there like this.
Yeah, that was cool. So, my kids,
yeah. Cool. So then I came out, and we drove through Manhattan, but technically I was in New Jersey the whole time.
Yeah,
and that was the first time. Then I ordered actually car service for myself when I flew home to see my dad one time because he wasn't doing so good. So I just ordered car service. And then I've ordered it in Florida. So 3 times. Miami. And when I was living there, I ordered car service for myself.
Yeah, that was the first time I've ever done that. So that was pretty cool. And so that like I think I told Brooke, but again, when you're doing it, it's different, right? So I think that was the expectation the whole time, but it wasn't. That was just to get us from the
from the airport to your destination, and then when you're done at the end, I think I actually because you don't get that type of service, so I actually went got car service back, but of course they're not standing outside your house with a sign. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just when you get there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was cool. The next morning. We went to see the Statue of Liberty. So that was when we did the whole like ferry ride where you get there, you have like a tour guide talk to you and tell you all about the about the history of the Statue of Liberty, and then like we take the ferry over, like see Ellis Island, and then see the actual Statue of Liberty. So my kids got to walk around it, take pictures. They were like super, super thrilled. And then they have like a museum over there at the Statue of Liberty. So you get to, learn more about it. My kids took a picture like in front of the Statue of Liberty, and they showed us that they had changed the torch recently, the torch that the Statue of Liberty is holding. And so they have like in the museum, they have like the old torch. So my kids thought that was so cool. So we took pictures in front of that as well. So it was cool. And the weather was great out there too, man. It was like 65 degrees. Like it wasn't like hot or cold at all. Like it was perfect. So we did the whole Statue of Liberty thing. And then we actually got lunch out there on that side of town. The area is called Battery Park right there off the Hudson River. So we ate lunch at this really nice restaurant. And it was cool because it was Halloween weekend. So you seen like the city was decked out Halloween. They had kids doing stuff just Halloween wise or whatever, man. So that was pretty cool just to kind of be up there during that time.
How did you feel at night walking around with the kids? Because when I think about New York and I think about having my kids, I just don't feel, I guess, safe being out at night walking around.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that. That same thing Brooke felt, but I mean, it was fine. I mean, because it wasn't like we were the only one with kids. Like literally, I mean, there was a lot of kids out there. You know what I mean? You got people who obviously live there, so they're out there with their kids because they're doing stuff just like how we do stuff here, with their kids in the evening time. And you have, obviously a lot of people who are visiting, coming there tourist-wise. So, I mean, it was like everybody, I guess because I had kids, I was more alert and looking around, and I noticed that I feel like everybody else had kids too, you know what I mean? Right. So it wasn't bad at all. The only part that kind of sucked was my daughter, man. I'm like, yo, I'll be getting on her because she always wanted me to pick her up because she'd be like, her legs hurt. So Saturday, like I said, we went, did the Statue of Liberty, went, walked around the city, did the M&M factory, did a whole bunch of stuff. And then that evening we went to go see my very first hockey game. I've never seen a hockey game before. My son, he likes the New York Rangers, which obviously they're there in New York. And so we stayed in Times Square. We were on 47th Street in Times Square, right? And then the Madison Square Garden is on 32nd Street in Times Square. Mm-hmm. So that's 15 blocks, right? So
y'all walked that?
Yeah. So everything, for the most part, most of the stuff, like we did a lot of stuff that was right in Times Square, right? But anything we did outside of that, as far as like go see my buddy Eric, because he lives in Harlem, go to a couple museums that were outside of the immediate area, go see Statue of Liberty, like we all Uber to those places. But the Madison Square Garden was like probably like a 25-minute walk. And so my daughter, man, we walk in there, and it's at nighttime, mind you, because the game starts at 7. So we walk in there like 6 o'clock. And she's like, Daddy, my legs hurt. So having to pick her up and carry her that whole way. And then, the game didn't end until like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So walking back with her, that was a little bit, that was a lot because I'm carrying her, you know what I mean? But outside of that, I mean, it was cool. Like I said, it was a whole bunch of kids there. I mean, you got, homeless people around and stuff that you kind of just like, hold your kids a little bit tighter when you're walking past them or whatnot. But outside of that, I mean, it was cool. It was really, really cool. We had a great time. The Rangers won the game.
Did they, was it during the game? So I went to hockey games when I was a kid.
Okay.
So did they fight?
They almost. So no, they didn't actually fight, like throw punches per se, but
They
they
used
got
to
any.
get
Yeah,
down
yeah,
when I was a
yeah.
kid.
They still do that to this
Oh,
day.
okay.
Yeah, but this particular game, there wasn't a fight. Like it was two guys that got into it. They start grabbing each other, start tussling, and everybody started to break them up or whatnot. And I mean, that was the extent of it. They didn't actually start fighting, but it was cool, man. We had a great time. My son, like, I mean, he was screaming, yeah! Like, I'd never seen him get that excited. It was so funny, man, just seeing him, man. He had veins come out his neck and his head and stuff because he was screaming so loud. Because the hockey games, there's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of upbeatness. Like, I
It
was like,
is,
wow. Like,
yeah.
that was my first time going. Like I said, I've been to many other sporting events, and that was probably the
and then
most...
hitting that glass, how they like just, I mean, they slam into it.
Yeah, they hitting each other.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
and they're going
aggressive.
fast. Yeah. They're going fast, man. So it was cool, man. It was really a great experience, man. So we had a really, really good time, man, in New York that weekend. That was really, really dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, outside of that, let me see. Thursday.
Halloween last week.
Yeah, so my kids had like a trunk or treat, and we did that on, I think, Tuesday, and then we did Halloween on Thursday.
Yeah.
In my homegirl's neighborhood. So we walked around, and this was the second year that I actually let Amaya go with her friends, my oldest.
Okay.
And so the city of Chesapeake, they have like an ordinance, like trick-or-treating you can't be 14 and older, first off. Right?
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. And then you have to be done trick-or-treating by 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew the time frame.
Yeah. So I was like, she ended up staying like out till like 8:15. I was like, girl, if you would have got caught, you would have been in trouble. Yeah. You know? I was like, you better pay attention to your responsibilities at being on time.
Yeah.
So, but she ended up okay. That was fine. And then that weekend, we actually went to this place called Just Birdie in Norfolk. It's like, Norfolk is building kind of like, it's like a mix between a town center and like a waterside, because some of the spaces have outdoor like area where you can kind of chill, kind of like waterside, right? But then some of the places kind of resemble like a town center type of deal. Anyway, in there they have this virtual gaming spot where you can go and you can play golf, you can play virtual basketball, football, rugby, circus activities, baseball, all kinds of sports on this virtual platform, and they have really, really good food. So if you're in Norfolk, check it out. It was really dope. Okay. We had a good time there.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I haven't heard you said Just Birdie, so I'm assuming they're probably naming it kind of off like birdie when you golfing.
Correct.
That's probably what it is. Yeah. Okay. That's what's up.
Yep. And then, shoot, what else did I do? Oh my gosh, I feel like I've been so busy. And
yeah, for Halloween, what did I do, man? For Halloween, my kids had something at their school where it was kind of like a parade. They walked through, they dressed up, wore their costumes. They walked through this area. And then after that, they did like Halloween songs. So they lined up and they actually sung like a whole bunch of like, Halloween songs, I guess, that they learned in music class. So that was pretty cool. You know what I mean? Seeing my son, he ended up being in the very front row, right there or whatnot. So we went up there and checked them out and was a part of that. Then they were able to walk around and get candy after it and all that. So that was pretty cool too. We trick-or-treat in our neighborhood. Our neighborhood is notorious. Like it's a very, which I love, is like they like do a lot of activities together, So like we had a big trick-or-treat, and a lot of people take a lot of pride in like, putting a whole bunch of different things up, man. And every year it's this one house that we always go by. They got their house decked out with a whole bunch of stuff. And so it was funny, we walked past it this year. My daughter, she was terrified. Brooke was kind of not trying to feel it either. And but my son, he normally is scared too. He was laughing the whole time. Like we walked past it, he was laughing at it or whatnot. They had like people like popping out of these caskets and stuff and going crazy, like these skeletons.
And that's exactly what happened to Carter. Carter was just laughing at that stuff. Like this one house, they had a skeleton in the driver's seat. Okay. And when you got close to the car, the skeleton would laugh real loud and like move like this. Yeah. And then it was like something underneath the truck that would kind of like pop out when you got close to it. Okay. And so Carter was like, ha ha ha, he don't got
That's crazy.
I was like, sir, that's not what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, it's funny. My daughter, she was scared of the other, like, not even like of like decoration scary stuff, because we had a lot of stuff in our neighborhood that was pretty scary. Like, I can understand why kids would be scared of it, but she was scared of other people who were like dressed up. Like, you had people, a person who had like a Grim Reaper type of joint. You know what I mean? They had all black on and walked around. Yeah, like she was like, and it was funny because when we were trick or treating in our neighborhood, people are different places, right? So like my neighborhood's like it's like a big U, I guess, but it's like different branches off in different areas or whatever. And so it's like, we had this group of kids that were like, every house they went to, they were like right behind us, you know what I mean? And it was funny because Slow would get the candy, turn around, and Grim Reaper would be standing right there. And she's like, oh, daddy, you know what I mean? Because I would let them like,
yeah, go up to the house themselves. Yeah,
go to the house themselves. Yeah. So I'm like at the curb, I was like, make sure you tell them trick or treat. Make sure you tell them thank you. Yeah. And so that's what I would let them do. But then she was like, no, daddy, come get me, or whatever. So then I kind of just like, because it happened for like 2 or 3 houses, I kind of just like end up separating myself from like them. I was like, hey, let's just go skip a couple of houses. We'll come back around to those, once we're at, so we can just get away from this group or whatever. But yeah, it was cool, man. Halloween was cool. What else, man? Yeah, this past weekend, what did I do? I went to my kids' school again. They had a thing called an oyster roast, which was pretty cool. We went to that evening where they just have no kids, but all the parents come, and then they have like live music. They have like cocktails, drinks, wine, champagne, whatever. And then they have like people, like a big thing of oysters, and they had like a guy like dropping them, like cooking them a little bit, and they had like raw oysters, and they had like clam chowder and like fried fish out there. It was good, man. They had a lot of food out there, man. That's one thing I will say about the school, because the school is within a community, and they're very like hands-on. They want the parents to be very active in, within the school or whatnot. And so that was pretty cool, man. We did that evening. And also during that day, my neighborhood had their fall festival that they have every single year where, they have like bounce house stuff with the kids. They have like a cornhole tournament.
Where is it though?
They just put it in the middle of the neighborhood. They basically, in the middle of our neighborhood,
on the street?
Yeah, it's on the street. In the street,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
In the middle of our neighborhood, they put, and it's literally like in the middle, like I said, my neighborhood's like a big U, and then it's kind of like branches out or whatever. But there's a middle spot that you can go that's like centralized in our neighborhood. And they kind of just like cone it off so people know that you kind of can't really drive there in that area or whatnot. And they do it from 12 to 3, so it was during the afternoon. And it was cool, man. They just, like I said, the areas roped off. They had a chili cook-off, so they had, I think it was like 8 different chilies that you get to try. They had, like I said, a bull riding thing as well. It was a whole bunch of stuff they had, man, but it was cool. We did that during the day as well. So, yeah, it's been eventful, I would say, the last 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Yeah. My daughter ended volleyball season, so that's great. But then we started AAU volleyball season.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be a struggle because she practices from 7 to 9, and I got 2 other little kids, so I'm just trying to work through that. Yeah. But outside of that,
you said they practice from 7 to 9?
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, she's damn near grown.
Yeah. When is she? Because she's gonna be driving soon, right? Or do you have?
Yeah, she has a permit.
Okay, but I'm talking about like license. When is that? That's probably not too long from now, right?
April.
Oh yeah. Okay, so by the end of the school year, then. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
Technically, yep. She could drive to school by the end of the school year.
So are you gonna let her like drive like day one type of thing, like when she gets her license?
No. She almost killed us like a month ago.
So
she's been on pause for driving.
So is that? So it sounds like that's based on like her driving. Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is like if she gets better between now and then, like let's say you're comfortable with her level of driving. So you'll let her drive at that time?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. She just got to do better.
I told you, my mom and my
daughter,
parents.
let me tell you what she did.
What?
So, okay, we were in Chesapeake, obviously. We were on Greenbrier, and, we were on Volvo and Crossways. You know where that's at, right? Next to the Volvo commercial building.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We were coming from, let's say, the CGX Exchange.
Okay.
Coming around that bend, coming up to Volvo. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So we get to the light. At the light, it says that you can turn on red.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. Right lane, turn on red. But that particular intersection has a double turning right lane.
Okay.
Right? We were on the inner lane. she went right past the red light and turned into traffic. And I said, well, what will make you do that? She said the sign said that you could turn all red. And I was like, are you kidding me?
That's funny.
I was like, so at no point common sense kicked in and you were like, well, wait, there's oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
Maybe I should stop even if the sign says go. Like,
yeah.
I was like, I need your common sense to kick in.
I see what she was thinking.
I can understand that, but then
she was thinking that like,
we needed
hey,
an
here,
override.
red mean green. Like that ain't what that means. That just means like, hey, it's red light. You can go as long as it's free and ain't nothing else moving around.
And you still gotta stop. But the thing is like I told her, I said, funny. If your brain don't have an override system, like,
oh yeah, I can.
We got a problem because
even
if it said, hey, it's safe to go, I told her, I said, even if the light was green, even if it was green, and there was someone who ran that red light, you have to have the sense to say, oh shit, they're running a red light. Let me stop. You don't go out there and try to figure the shit out.
Yeah.
In the midst of it.
You gotta anticipate, man.
You have to have an override system in your brain. And that override system is dysfunction right now. So I'm not.
Dysfunction.
Yeah. It's not working at the moment. So
that's funny.
Because of that, we are on pause. And I told her, I was like, I need a break from your driving. I said, you want to make me have a heart attack before you even get the license. You ain't going to even be able to get the license without me. So.
Yeah. I remember, man, like, I remember my parents, because I told you my first vehicle, I think I mentioned this on a pod before, my first vehicle that I ever drove, like was my vehicle was a manual drive, a stick shift. So it was difficult for me because like leading up to that point, my parents taught me how to drive an automatic, right? My dad had a car, a blue Monte Carlo that he had sitting there that he had got, I think it was like an 80 something. He had a long time, but he had bought a new vehicle since then. And so like every day on Saturday mornings, my dad would go out in the garage. He had bought a motorcycle, so he'd be like tweaking with the motorcycle, doing stuff in the garage. And then like I would ask him, can I drive? And so he would like, hey, come out here and help me, then I'll let you drive. And so we would drive, he would show me how to do certain stuff. And then once we got to the point of when I was ready to drive, that car had like was done for. So then we had also another truck that was an old school, it was a Toyota 4Runner that was a manual drive. And so I had to learn how to drive that too, which is difficult. Like it's different. When you're first learning how to drive that at like 15, 16 years old, that's very difficult. Just grasping the concept. But my parents I was playing so many sports, kind of like what you're saying, that they were like encouraging me. Like they were like, yeah, we need you to learn this right now. So like it got to the point like every day I would come home from school, like they would teach me how to drive because they were like, hey, once you're at a point where you have your license and you know how to do this, I want you to drive and you to be able to go to practice and do all that stuff so I don't have to do that no more. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel. But like I said, I need a break because my nerves was like, it's not, to me, it's not going to get us anywhere if in the car, I'm one, scared for my life. And then two, like she ain't got nothing to say, hey, maybe I shouldn't do that. And I told her she got to make better choices, man.
Yeah.
I can't deal with that.
No,
that's the part of it where it's like, come on now. You got to do better. Got to do better.
I understand. I feel you on that one. But yeah, man.
So then after that, we went straight into the election.
Yeah, we did. We had the election
Tuesday.
Yeah, today's Thursday. So Tuesday, yeah, man. That was a lot. You know, I don't really talk about politics and all of that, man, but I seen a lot. You know, as far as obviously we know that Donald Trump won. Yep. So, you know, he's the elect president now. I think he'll take office in January, if I'm not mistaken, is how that process goes. So we'll have a
inauguration.
Yeah, we'll have we're going from Democrat to Republican president. He was the president. He got voted in 2016. Then Biden came in 20, and then now Trump is going back in 2024. So that tells me a lot of people just ain't happy with where things are right now. Because that's normally,
absolutely, you know,
when that situation happens. So we'll see. We'll see how everything, you know, pans out with this new, this new president coming in. You know, everything that all the different things that he's looking to do. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I seen yesterday. The stock market though had a great day. I have like some Tesla stock. And so Elon Musk, he's a very big supporter of Donald Trump. And so one of my buddies, he trades options all the time with stocks. And so he showed me how to do it. And so he hit me up, was like, yo, today, he was like, with the whole president stuff going on, he was like, this is the day you need to trade options. So I actually just jumped in and did it for like 5 minutes, and I made some decent money on it, in just that small time frame,
Nice.
Anticipating, obviously the market rallying the way it did. So, but yeah, that was cool. My stock market definitely, I think it said that its best day in the last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, was yesterday. Everything pretty much for the most part was green. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully the housing market, picks up as well. I know there's a lot of people are kind of hoping and wishing for that. I know I got a couple calls yesterday, asking me like, hey, now what does this mean now for like rates? Really though, I think you would agree rates have went up, the last couple of weeks. So it hasn't,
meaning they have gotten worse.
Yeah, they've gotten worse. It's not a good thing. They've gotten worse. Really since, the Fed had made their announcement of cutting the rate, the federal rate, by half. I think this was back in September they did that, like mid-September, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been about a month and a half, almost 2 months now. I know today they're also coming out and supposed to be making a decision on what they want to do as well. They had a meeting, from my understanding, today and yesterday. And so they're supposed to come out today at 2 and kind of tell us what they're going to do. I think a lot of people are anticipating it, that they're going to cut it again, the federal rate. I've heard some people say they're going to cut it a quarter. Some people saying they're going to be aggressive again and cut it a half again. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that impacts the mortgage-backed securities. I know last time it wasn't positive. It definitely, rates went up, during that time. Once that happened, it's really been kind of going up since then. And so hopefully, this time it'll be maybe positive in the mortgage, world. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I came across this post. Now, I will say that I did not fact check this information, but I thought it was pretty interesting. It may not be exact to the year, but it was some pretty some news about women that I really didn't know, really didn't pay attention to. I think out of all of the information that I saw on here, I knew one of them, and that was when a woman could buy a house without a man. I was aware of that one, but it was a lot of different dates on here that you know that some of the things or some of the rights that women have, they haven't been, what word am I looking for? they haven't been established for a long time. But then when you think about it, it's like, damn, not only was established for a long time, what wasn't established for a long time, it's not that long ago, especially when you think about like the year I was born and stuff like that. Just looking at some of this information, it says that in 1920, which was what, 120 years ago, just about 124 years ago, that was when
1920. So we're in 2024. So yeah, it's 104 years ago.
104 years. Okay. So, so that was the year that white women could vote.
Okay.
Right? But 1965, that was when black women could vote. Yeah. 40 years later. 45 years later.
Segregation, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so in 1969, that was when women were able to initiate divorces from their husbands. Can you imagine that? I couldn't imagine being forced to be married to someone.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah, so that, I guess back before then, you said 69?
69.
Yeah, so before then, I guess the husband always had to be the person to initiate that. That's
initiate it, right? Yeah. In 1972, that was when women can get birth control without a man.
Get birth control without a man?
Can go and get birth control without a man.
Okay.
Saying that it was okay.
Oh, okay. Interesting. No wonder everybody used to have a whole bunch of kids back then. I mean, people still got kids, a lot of kids now, but
yeah,
you do if you look back. Yeah, you look back. I mean, I know my grandparents, and I got some uncles and all that. They got like 6, 7, 8 brothers. Yeah, it wasn't. So I mean, it was just that's what it was. Yeah. Now you think about it. So yeah.
And then in 1974, that was when women could buy a home without a man. So before you couldn't buy a house without your husband. Well, without a man. It don't say husband, but without a man.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right?
Interesting.
And then in 1988, that was when women can own their own businesses without a man.
88. Wow. So I was born 86. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yep. 2 years after you were born.
Yeah.
And then in 1994, this one shocked me, was when women gained legal protection against domestic abuse.
So I guess before then, it was just like, I mean, they didn't have protection against it. That's tough.
Right. So you can basically get beat and
Yeah,
they would
legally,
just be like, "Hey,
yeah,
you better do better, ma'am.
Leave or something. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't.
You better do what he says,
yeah,
ma'am."
You couldn't go to. I mean, yeah, that's tough. That's real tough.
So I thought that was pretty interesting, especially given what we're dealing with nowadays.
Yeah,
you know,
sure. Mm-hmm.
Especially with more specifically the one that says woman couldn't get birth control without a man.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like that's coming back into fruition.
yeah.
I saw this post where it said this man, he posted your body, my choice.
Oh wow.
That's what I was like,
crazy.
whoa. I mean, I'm not ever having any more kids, but I just can't imagine. Yeah. You know, that choice being taken away from me.
Yeah, that's tough. I again, I'm a guy. I don't understand that, but you know, that's tough. I couldn't.
Especially
that would upset me.
Life-saving measures, like
that would upset me.
Just imagine you be pregnant and you have to choose between this 6-week fetus and her.
Yeah.
You don't even know the baby yet.
Yeah.
and your wife got 2 other kids she got to take care of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's
people
tough.
don't think about that.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. Yeah, that's crazy. I guess kind of jumping into something else to kind of catch up. I felt like Love is Blind. I know that ended as well since our last podcast.
Speaking of kids.
Yeah. That's what made me think about that. Speaking of
giving your sperm out.
Yeah. That's what made me think about it. You know, jumping into that, or you know, the whole situation where we got to finally see. So since then, we saw the last episode, right? So we saw the weddings, and it's crazy because literally it was only 2 weddings that happened, which is crazy. You know, it was Tyler and Ashley. You know, there was a big story around them where, you know, Tyler had kids, you know, already. He had kind of told Ashley, you know, during the show or whatnot, you know, he was a sperm donor. But then we kind of feel like it was crazy. Like when that happened, like shortly after that, you kind of start to see things on social media bubble a little bit. And then you find out that, you know, that he was a sperm donor to one of his friends, who's a woman, obviously. And, you know, she was in a same-sex relationship. And then I guess they broke up. And then I guess he tried to still be in the, you know, because they were friends, he started to be in her life and the kid's life. And then they actually ended up having twins, from my understanding, you know. So it wasn't like the next set of children weren't, you know, sperm donor type of kids. They were, you know, had consensually, you know, doing what grown people do. And so like, it was just crazy because they didn't talk about that on the show at all, you know. And so it was just like, you know, everybody was kind of wondering, like, did Ashley, like, know this? You know what I mean? And so, you know, they got married. Everything looked great at the altar. They both said yes. And then at the reunion, we were able to see, like, it's, you know, she knew this. She knew all the details and everything, and seemed like they were happy and happy with their situation. They
seemed like a really nice couple.
Yeah. They
based
seemed
on
very,
the show. I mean, you know, he has kids. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, we almost 40. Who don't have kids?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at this point.
Yeah.
You know, once you make it to your late 20s, you gotta expect that there's a possibility that you're going to be with someone with kids.
Of course. I don't think it was the fact that he had kids. I think it was just the stories didn't make sense when they came out. And I think after the fact now, you know, you were kind of able to understand exactly the timeline because, you know, he would say stuff like he never seen the kids, but then you got a woman coming out on social media showing him taking Christmas pictures with the kids and all that. Like, so that just didn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So now after the fact, you know, you were able to find out that, you know, I guess he had a private conversation with Ashley, not on camera. And so they still like tried to like at least mention that fact on camera, and it just didn't make sense to the public. So So they said yes. And then you had I always forget the name, man, but they had the other couple who the wife's family or the woman's family was from San Diego, And so they were talking about moving to San Diego, and I think they did, but ended up coming right back, is from my understanding what ended up happening with them. But they both said yes. They were one of the couples that I picked from the beginning, so I was happy to see them doing well.
And I picked Ashley and Tyler from the beginning.
Yeah. So I guess we both got a couple who made it. Yeah. So that was
I never thought Ramses and Melissa would make it.
That was my other couple. So they literally, I guess, and that was crazy.
3 days before.
Yeah, like right before, he ended up breaking up with her. And I get it. It was just crazy. Like the conversation, the mother was there, and it was, to me, looking at the whole conversation that they were having, it's like she was mad at him for basically not liking her no more. You know what I'm saying? Or not seeing a future. And I actually, when he was explaining things.
Huh? Wait, did I miss something?
Yeah, so, when they were together, at least the breakup, when he broke up with her, he was like, hey, I love you and all this, but it's in a roundabout way. He said, your energy is just too much for me.
Correct.
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So he broke up with her and they didn't get married. While they were at the reunion, sitting there talking, and then the mother was jumping in and she was jumping in, like everybody was just like, why? Like, and I don't know, the way I kind of took it, she kind of was coming off as like, like I say, not begging is not the word to use, but she was, I guess, still trying to get answers, it sounded like.
Closure.
And closure, answers, whatever you want to call it. And I felt like he said it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, I felt like they kind of tag teamed him a little bit. I mean, but I mean,
he looked like he was about to cry.
Yeah, he looked sad. I mean, I felt like he spoke and said, his piece about the situation, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, I guess he didn't realize how it would be until it got into the real world. And once it got in the real world, he didn't see that he could be with her.
I was kind of confused because I mean, obviously, they don't show everything on camera, but her energy never changed, right?
I think I'm trying to be sensitive. I think I can understand what he was saying, right? I feel like I'm more of a laid back type of guy. I have high energy when I'm attacking certain things, but I'm not like a high energy person all the time. Like, that's just not me, right? And so I feel like when you're behind the wall, you're talking, like, you could tell she was high energy, but I don't think that you actually understand to what degree until you're actually together. You're there every day. You're coming home from work. Like, I think that's the part that you really can't anticipate until you're actually in it. You know what I'm saying? And so if that's what it sounded like to me, it sounded like
But then thinking about some of the conversations that they had, it was like when she addressed her being on her period, and she was like, I really don't want to be like hugged up and, touched and all that stuff. And he was like, no, I want you near me. Like, I always got to touch you. Like, I always want to put my hands on you. Like, I always want to be, some part of me touching you type of thing. And it was and she just was like, okay, I understand that. I just need a minute when I'm not feeling so great, because everybody
I don't think I didn't look at that as like being high energy person. I think that he just like wanted to be. It seemed like he was very sexual towards her, so he really wanted to be on her, around her all the time. Like, I don't look at that as being like high energy. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah. But I thought that was the turnoff. I thought that's where it was. I never felt like it was her energy, like that she's high energy. I was thinking about energy like how she is around me. You know how you can say, like, you can tell someone, like, I don't really care for your energy. Yeah. Not that you're high energy. Yeah. But just we don't mesh.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking was the issue.
Gotcha.
Not that she was just sprung like, oh my God, let's go do this. I just want to do this. I want to run around. I want to do it. I didn't think that. Because she does have that personality too.
She does, yeah.
But I was always thinking like he just didn't feel like they connected as far as their energy towards each other, like, sexually and all those different things is how I took it when I was reading it. And then then he brought up the sex was a big issue about not using a condom and doing all the and I was like, okay, well, like now all of a sudden your energy's off. Or her energy is off.
I think it was one of, again, the way like I said, I don't know him. I'm just going off of what.
This is just what we see on TV.
I'm just going off what
obviously.
we see on TV. But I feel like I can understand. I'm a very understanding person. So even if I don't agree with something or how somebody goes about things, I always try to separate how I view things and just understand what the person is saying, right? Because everybody has their own experiences and everybody processes things totally different. Mm-hmm. So from what he was saying, I can understand where it sounds like he recognized the energy, high energy, whatever you want to call it. And he tried to still work through that. And it got to the point where he ultimately felt like, hey, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's because, her thing was like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why, you know what I'm saying? And I can understand being in a situation where it's like, because when you tell somebody something like that that's going to really hurt them, it's going to make things very awkward. Mm-hmm. And then you're not going to get a true, like, that person is not going to be themselves anymore. You know what Absolutely, I'm saying? And so I can understand kind of internally processing that and trying to figure out like, hey, is this something that I can do? You know what I mean?
So how did you feel about Tim and Alex on stage?
Yeah, they was going at each other. Yeah, they was going at each other, man. I still, again, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I understand what he was saying, but I also understand what she was saying. And I feel like, I still feel like, man, he shouldn't have broke up with her because of that. But obviously that's how he feels. So that's just what it is. Like, I know some people feel some people feel like, hey, when you meet somebody, they're going to, like, some people I feel like, and I've even had this conversation with like some of my friends, they feel like, hey, the person has to be perfect. Like, and I feel like Tim he's not really realistic about some of the things that he's wanting to see in his partner. I understand having high standards and all of that, but I think that also you're two different people operating differently. And so sometimes that if you just communicate and have conversation with each other, you can understand things and kind of work through things. But just to automatically hope or assume that somebody's going to do certain things that they don't know that you want them to do, I think is not really truly fair for real. You know what I mean? And so I think that that's kind of where it was. I think he had a certain expectation of what he thinks a partner should do just knowingly off the rip. And I think she was a willing person. I think she would be willing to do some of these things or mm-hmm. all of these things, but maybe that's not something that's natural for her to do, or she may not have been in a relationship to understand and know that, hey, this is something that he's looking for. Mm-hmm. And he was like, hey, that's a deal breaker for him, which everybody has their own deal breaker. So, I mean, that's what it is.
Did you see like this? I feel like he verbally said that he was non-confrontational, right? He said, I walk away from issues type mm-hmm. of thing, right? But it felt like every time that he was like pissed, it was this deep, dark look in his eyes. Did you notice that? Like he just looked like he was out of body. Like he was so mean. Like I'm not saying he's a mean person, but it would be like this stare that was just like, I don't want to deal with you. Get out of my face. I don't understand why we here. And it was just like, I wonder what it would be like if the cameras weren't on. And it was
she called him I think the B word, and then like he was like that also, which I can understand. Like to me, that's like the worst thing that you can call somebody. Me. Like, you know what I mean? Like being honest with you. So if a woman called me that, or even a dude, it don't matter. Like that's going to be hard for me to like get over. And I think that ever since that happened, I don't think he really ever got over that. That's really what I felt about the situation. And I felt like this happened after the fact, like the other stuff that happened obviously with the parents and her taking a nap and all that. I feel like, man, come on, man. Like you tripping. Like he tripping on that one. But I feel like he couldn't get over that. So then that was always in the back of his mind. Then this happened and it made him unhappy. And so he was like, you know what? I'm done. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't like that word either, Tim. I understand, bro. Like I don't even use that word. I don't even like, even if I'm like rapping a song and it's like the guy in the song or the girl in the song say it, like I don't even say that word, man. 'Cause I just don't like that word. I think that's so, I don't know, it's just like, So I can understand if you arguing with somebody and they call you that. Yeah, it's on site then. We having problems.
Listen, I had somebody tell me that I was acting like a bitch.
Yeah, that ain't cool. I don't like that.
And I was like, you basically just called me a bitch. If I'm acting like one.
Yeah.
We're going to have words.
Yeah. So.
And I ain't let that go.
Yeah, and then I know we running up on time, but the last thing I'll say is your girl, she glowed up. Hannah, she lost a lot. I guess she slimmed down, lost weight. She didn't even look like the same person to me.
She did not, but I do not like the way they tried to come at him.
Man, they came at my guy, man.
But he kept his
Nick
composure.
D,
yeah,
he did. But he was turning red though. He was getting frustrated, but he definitely didn't.
He was embarrassed.
He was embarrassed. Yeah, I agree. Because
it seemed like it came out because he knew I think he's comfortable with himself. He's like, shit, I'm debt free. That's okay. I live with my parents. It's all right.
The part that he was uncomfortable with though, because obviously it sounded like I guess he said something about Hannah. Remember, like that they were trying to like double team in because they were asking like the dude Steven, like, did you really say that? Did she?
She's like a grenade or
something. Yeah, it was something that I guess that he said to it sounds like I guess Ramses heard it, and then Ramses told obviously his partner, the girl, or whatever. He
just told the truth. Like Hannah she's pretty, but she ain't.
Correct. But they asked him, did he say it? And he's like, nah. He kept saying he didn't say it, but then he had like 3 or 4 people who's unbiased, I guess you could say, in the situation was like, bro, you said it. You know what I mean? So it's like, and they just couldn't get over that. Maybe
he did say it and he was drinking at the time too, because
Yeah, I don't know.
He in real estate, so.
Yeah. I don't know about that part of it, but I mean that they did kind of tag team. But I felt like again, that whole situation, man, was I felt like she was being a bully.
To her, but she
was a bully, man. Mm-hmm. She was a bully. She was definitely a bully. So and
it didn't make it any better that he was so much smaller than her. You know, because I can understand that. Like if I feel like I'm bigger than you, I can feel like what?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think they weren't even talking about their height in the pods as well. And I guess he had lied about his height or something, or she said something. I don't remember, man. He
exaggerated.
Yeah, he exaggerated his height.
I ain't gonna say he lied. I mean, that's in football, they do that.
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of football stats where, I know this person in person, and then online it say they 6'3", and I'm like, where?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in heels, we about eye to eye.
They used to do that, man. I remember when I was playing football, they
weight, all that.
Yeah.
So him being he played football, semi-professional or whatever, Canadian. So he's used to exaggerating his height. Mm-hmm.
I was trying to even think about it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he was too far-fetched when he said that. He just exaggerated because that's what he used to.
Correct.
Especially if, you might Google him and it probably does say that height.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't fact checked it.
Because I'm a solid 5'9", and when I was playing football, they was
5'11".
They was 5'11" me all day.
Yeah.
But that was like my coach and them used to like.
Because when you put them cleats on, you probably about 5'11" for real. Because y'all, you got a little. Little cleats,
Yeah. But I mean, it was my coaches and them used to. Because I remember, and I'll leave on this because I know we over time, but. I remember in high school, like we used to have to fill out, like we would get recruited. And so, my coach was like, hey, we have to create a profile for you. So, we can like, when coaches come, like they can like look at your profile. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, I took a picture and all that. And then they were like, fill out like my height, my weight. And so I was getting ready to put like my drill stuff on there. He was like, nah, we're going to do that part for you. I was like, wow. He was like, we're going to just kind of like, make it look a little bit better on paper. I was like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? So I did here put 5'11".
Meanwhile, you like 5'8" and 3/4.
Yeah, no, I'm 5'9". I'm 5'9". Maybe back then, I don't know, man. I might have been 5'8" something. But right now, I'm 5'9". I know that for a fact. My doctor even say that. So, but they added like 15 pounds on me. I think I was like, at the time, I was probably like 175, 180, and they said I was 195, 5'11", and I definitely want that. So, yeah. But yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah. So Love Is Blind ended. I know, hopefully, I think a new season obviously will be out, probably, next couple months or so. So,
yeah.
It's definitely been a show I've been keeping track of. So,
yeah. All right, guys. So we do appreciate you watching the podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and you can tune into YouTube for the full episode. You can follow us at Let's Talk BSPD, and my personal is I am Sofia KB.
Yep, my personal is Bryan, so it's BRYAN _Royster.
All right, we will see you next week.
See you next week.